Hi, everyone. You've probably heard that the so-called torture report was just released. It's a culmination of a 5-year Senate inquiry into the CIA's treatment of detainees following 9/11 during the Bush administration. President Obama signed an executive order banning torture back in 2009, but this report is about actions taken in the war on terror before that. The report's alarming and raises a number of questions, so we asked Yahoo's chief investigative correspondent Michael Isikoff to break it down for us.
The new information is what the CIA was doing in interrogating suspects in those first months and years after 9/11 was far more brutal than anything that has been previously revealed before. There was one CIA prison known as a dungeon in which prisoners were kept in the dark, shackled, and left in stress positions for hours on end. One dies of hypothermia after he's left naked. Another detainee, Abu Zubaydah, is put in a coffin-like box and told his remains are going to be cremated. He's waterboarded and loses consciousness. He vomits up air bubbles and water. On and on the list goes. There are graphic details in this report that we haven't seen before. Well, there have been a lot of concerns that Al-Qaeda and ISIS elements will seize on this and stage protest demonstrations. It could lead to attacks on embassies. But the answer from the committee is there's no good time to release a report like this, that this is a part of American history. It's a part of the public record now of what took place in the CIA's name, and the world and the American public deserves to know. That is the key issue of dispute. The committee's position and conclusion after reviewing 6 million records here over a 5-year period is that these techniques were not effective. They're not saying that no information came from the detainees as a result of waterboarding and other enhanced techniques. What they are saying is that in almost every case, you can find that key information came from other sources, could have been gotten from other sources, from foreign government partners, from the FBI, from more traditional techniques. But one key detail that was just fascinating is that as a result of these techniques, the CIA often got completely fabricated false information that led them on wild goose chases. One example, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the architect of 9/11, is waterboarded and then tells a completely bogus story about how he had tried to recruit African Americans in the state of Montana, leading to a big FBI investigation. It was a completely false story that the committee says he only told because he was being subjected to waterboarding. What the report says is that the CIA misrepresented what it was doing, both to Congress and even to the rest of the United States government. There's a reference to one email sent by the former general counsel of the CIA at the time saying, do not brief the National Security Council because Powell, a reference to Colin Powell, then the Secretary of State, will blow his stack if he learns we're doing these sorts of techniques. I think we're already hearing Republicans, almost to a man and woman, defending these techniques, saying that they were vital and necessary given the time that these interrogations took place in the months and years after 9/11, when there was fear of another mass attack on the homeland, and the agency had to do whatever it could to prevent another attack. But at the same time, you're going to hear Democrats and human rights groups saying these were shameful tactics being used that flouted international law, and this was a dark chapter in American history. There have already been 2 criminal investigations by the Justice Department that led to no charges. One of the problems here is that the Justice Department at the time, in those early days of the Bush administration, did give approval for these techniques. Now, the committee says the Justice Department lawyers who gave those approvals didn't get the full story, but the fact is the memos were written. The memos said they could conduct techniques such as this kind, so it would be exceedingly difficult to make a criminal case. At this point, that's not in the offing.
As expected, the CIA strongly refutes many of the report's findings and was opposed to its release for some of the reasons Michael just explained. Former Director Michael Hayden claims that the Senate Intelligence Committee Democrats who conducted the report didn't talk to anyone actively involved in the so-called enhanced interrogation program. President Bush says the report minimizes the contributions of those who served during that period.
We're fortunate to have men and women who work hard at the CIA serving on our behalf. These are patriots. And whatever the report says, if it diminishes their contributions to our country, it is way off base.
We should also point out Republicans on the Senate Intelligence Committee did not sign off on the report and plan on releasing their own version. We'll continue to cover this important story, but that's the gist of it so far. I'm Katie Couric. Thanks for watching.